2005, when the economy was really rolling, we spent upwards of $80,000 a year on the number of locates. Now, this would be, the quarter mile that we're talking about here would be a typical road project, a typical development project, typical of other utilities like KCPL or gas company or something like that. They would have this type of a locate made quarter mile or more long, and sometimes the full width of the right of way. For the development, it could easily be that. Most any development out there is going to have about that size or bigger, and would typically break out about like this one did.
But this is still a small portion, isn't it, of the total locates?
The total locates?
Aren't they mostly residential or not?
Perhaps in number, but in extent, these would by far be the more the prevalent type.
What is the average household type of locate cost instead of 100 to 127? Is there? Just a guess. I guess what I'm getting at is, how would this company fare, the one that you're recommending, if you look at the greater bulk of the locates at possibly lower costs?
Well, I think if you looked at it per locating, I mean, they're $35 a ticket, and each time somebody calls in, that's a ticket. Now, they're locating for us today, water and electric. With the new contract, they will be locating water, sewer, electric, and storm sewer. And that's because we've recently discovered that the law requires us to locate storm sewer and sanitary sewer as well. So we are having to add that. I mean, I could analyze it in a number of different ways, but that's kind of a typical one. And if they were to locate for a single household, they're going to charge you for USIC $35, and if it were integrity, their rate per ticket is only $5.50 per the ticket.
But that you multiply that by 4 or 5, though. I mean, don't you have to have them all?
Yeah, it would be. They would come out and locate all 4 of the utilities, so it would be $20 there. And
22 versus 35 is a significant decrease, though.
It
if
is.
The numbers,
but
except for all these other costs. See, one thing that I would caution is, it looks like USIC has a pretty simplified cost structure, whereas Integrity has a complex. So I would assume that rate per ticket maybe $5.50, but they're also probably going to allocate a portion of GPS mapping, site monitoring, so all that additional overhead into their ticket price. And I mean, I can't validate that, but I just think they're more complex in how they build.
Yeah, the project locating would be essentially per ticket as well, if there were a project, and they didn't define exactly what the project would be in their contract, in their proposal, but when you do take those other things that Christy's talking about into account, they almost certainly would be more expensive in almost every case.
But they do charge for emergency requests and after hours?
Yes.
But that's not in their bid. Like
USIC does not, but Integrity does.
So it doesn't matter. They don't charge it at all. I mean, just because it wasn't
these are the rates they charge, whether it's during regular hours or on holiday or weekend. Where Integrity broke theirs down, and they charge after hours on weekends.
I think the big difference between the two is that Integrity charges an hourly labor rate, and that's rolled into USIC's ticket rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone else have questions? We can revisit it after a motion.
Oh, wait a second. They do have an after-hours call-out. They define it anyway in the agreement.
Okay, I missed that.
It's under the first page. It says agreement. I mean, I'm assuming if it's defined that there's a rate for it. So maybe we don't have the rate. Maybe not that they're not charging it. I mean, when you send these RFPs out,
they have their proposal in here, Larry, and if they don't have
it,
yeah, I mean, if they don't have anything listed for that.
How did the RFP read? Did it say emergency Did it ask for emergency costs and site monitoring, GPS mapping, or did it not ask for them?
It did not ask for that. The GPS monitoring, that is a specific, different charge, but the site monitoring would not be. That would be a normal charge that they would see each time.
So Integrity just provided all this information up front?
Yes.
But we can assume,
It-
since it's defined,
Look at this.
I saw that,
Okay.
but it doesn't, but I'm just saying, if it says it defines, you know, an after-hours call-out, then that to me means emergency after hours is gonna have a charge to it.
But it says $35 per after-hours call-out ticket on the back, so it's the same price.
Okay. It-
Yep.
I mean, is that an addition, though, to the ticket price?
I mean, that would be a good question.
Well, actually, you know, when you've got service companies and service calls, ticket price is usually ticket price.
What do you think that it's a 35 and not an additional 35?
It's 30, I may have read it a little bit incorrectly there, but I took the 35 as per ticket call-out, and it actually says per after-hour call-out ticket. And
So maybe they'll have
so-
a ticket price if it's not.
And maybe it's
Yeah.
project price per quarter hour for locates that exceed 90 minutes.
Yeah, so instead of
And it looks
35,
like $6 per facility, maybe $6 per site visit, so maybe it's $12.
exactly, and then it's 35 versus 25 for the emergency call-out. Or no, 18 versus 35.
Anyone else have questions? All right, I'm gonna open the floor for public comments. If there's anybody in attendance that would like to make a public comment on new business item number 4, I ask you to come forward, state your name and address for the record, and be heard. Anyone? You're welcome to. That being the case, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to authorize the city administrator to execute agreement with USIC for locating services for the city of Gardner water, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and underground electric.
Second. Motion Shute, second Freeman, that we authorize the city administrator to execute an agreement with USIC for locating services. Is there any other questions or comments? That being the case, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. New business item number 5. Consider authoring staff to issue a request for proposals for the position of city attorney. In this particular case, the city, we recently had a conversation with our longtime city attorney, Jim Hubbard. I learned while we were talking that he's been city attorney since 1973, 40 years. Thank you for that, sir. And that his father was city attorney before that. But not having a agreed upon contract and some projects that we were hoping to undertake, we decided to discuss with Mr. Hubbard whether or not he'd be interested in participating with the request for proposals for city attorney services. He's going to decline to participate in the RFP process, and certainly understand and appreciate that. Is willing to serve with us until we locate and get properly seated a new council. But in the meantime, the city wants to get new legal services through an RFP process. Everyone has the information in front of them. At this point, I'd entertain some questions about new business item number 5.